What happens when we die? It's a question that has intrigued and terrified humankind for centuries. We all think we know the answer, or at least we like to believe we do. But what if the truth is far beyond what any of us could have imagined? What if for just a few minutes you were given a glimpse into something so profound that it completely redefined your understanding of life, death, and the very essence of the soul? My name is Callista Davis, and I never expected to be one of the people who could answer that question. I was just a typical 34-year-old elementary school teacher in Vermont, living what I thought was an ordinary life, following routine and reason. But everything changed on December 12th, 2023. What should have been a simple surgery turned into something far beyond my comprehension. I died for 7 minutes and 23 seconds. And what I witnessed during those fleeting moments has stayed with me, haunting me in the best way ever since. I need you to understand something before I continue. I was never the kind of person to entertain mystical ideas. I taught science to fifth graders. Facts, evidence, and logic were my world. Sure, I went to church, but I wouldn't have called myself particularly spiritual. What happened to me during that time wasn't a dream or a hallucination. It was more real than anything I've ever known in this physical world. It all began with what was supposed to be a routine appendectomy. I remember the sterile scent of the operating room, the bright lights above, and the sound of the anesthesiologist counting down from 10. I made it to 7 before everything went dark. And that's when things should have stayed dark. But they didn't. The first thing I noticed was the absence of pain. Just moments before, my abdomen had been on fire with the agony of appendicitis, but now there was nothing but an overwhelming sense of peace. It was as if the weight of the world had lifted from my shoulders. I felt myself drifting upward, and when I looked down, I could see my body lying on the operating table. The surgical team was frantic, their hands moving quickly, their faces masked in concern, but there was no fear in me, only a profound sense of calm, as though I was watching someone else's life unfold on a screen. Then I saw the light. But this wasn't just any light. It was a living, breathing presence, more vibrant and full of love than anything I could possibly understand. At first, it was a tiny dot in the distance, but as I moved toward it, through a swirling tunnel of iridescent colors, it grew larger, more radiant, pulling me in with an irresistible force. And as I neared it, I began to sense other presences too. They weren't quite people, but beings of light, communicating with me without words. Among them, I saw my grandmother, Sarah, who had passed when I was 12, and my childhood best friend, Emma, who had tragically died in a car accident during college. They appeared as young and vibrant as I remembered them, yet somehow timeless, radiating pure joy, warmth, and an unspoken understanding. And then I heard them. Not in my ears, but in my mind, a chorus of love that resonated deeper than anything I had ever felt. "We've been waiting for you, Callista." Emma's voice echoed in my mind, a gentle yet compelling call. "There's something special you need to see." What could be so important that it demanded my attention? As if on cue, the tunnel around me began to shift, expanding into what can only be described as the threshold of heaven, though it was nothing like the celestial scenes I'd seen in paintings or described in books. What was this place? How could it be so different from anything I had ever imagined? This place defied all earthly understanding. It was a vast expanse of living light, pulsing with colors that didn't exist on Earth, swirling in geometric patterns so intricate and complex that they seemed to hold the entire knowledge of the universe within their depths. And then, who did I see standing there? And that's when I saw him. Not as the bearded figure we often picture, but as something immeasurable, a presence that transcended all forms and identities. God, in his infinite essence, stood before me, not as a distant figure, but as a living consciousness of pure love. His presence was both overwhelming and deeply welcoming, like a vast ocean you could drown in, yet feel completely embraced by. In that instant, everything became clear. I realized that God is both Father and Mother, personal and universal, one and many, a paradox of unity and infinity, and everything in between. But what did I learn next that truly shook me to my core? But it was what happened next that compels me to share this story, even though I know many will find it hard to believe. God revealed to me something profound, the process of soul creation. And trust me, it was nothing like I had ever imagined. I watched, mesmerized, as God's consciousness expanded, unfolding into what could only be described as a cosmic workshop. Picture the most advanced laboratory, combined with the most sublime artist studio, but one made entirely of living light and vibrant energy. What was happening in this divine workshop? How could something so complex and beautiful be taking place right before my eyes? In this sacred space, I witnessed the birth of souls, each one beginning as a spark of divine light, tiny and pure. But the process was far more intricate than a simple act of creation. I saw how God carefully weaves together different aspects of his own nature: love, wisdom, creativity, joy, and countless other qualities into unique combinations that formed each individual soul. It was as if I were watching a master composer at work, weaving together notes and harmonies into a symphony, each soul an original masterpiece. How does this process affect the soul's journey through time? Here's what amazed me the most. Each soul is created with a specific purpose, a divine blueprint that contains the potential for every experience and growth that soul will encounter across multiple lifetimes. I saw how God carefully infuses each soul with its strengths and challenges, specifically calibrated to guide it toward the lessons it needs to learn and the growth it is meant to experience. This process was not mechanical or detached. It was deeply personal. How does God's love shape each soul's path? I saw how God poured into each soul what I can only describe as divine DNA, a unique combination of spiritual gifts, personality traits, and potential paths. Every soul, carefully crafted with the utmost care, was an individual work of art, precious and irreplaceable. What struck me, though, was how collaborative the process was. Beings of light, angels, though the word doesn't quite capture them, were assisting in this sacred act of creation. As I watched, they explained to me that in the spiritual realm, time as we know it doesn't exist. Everything happens in an eternal now moment, one that contains all possibilities and outcomes simultaneously. What does this say about the nature of divine love? I saw, in the deepest part of my being, how God's love for each soul is unconditional and eternal. This wasn't just some concept or distant idea. It was an experience I felt with every fiber of my being. It was as if I were immersed in an ocean of pure love, a love that knew everything about me, including my mistakes and regrets, and yet loved me completely. This love wasn't just passive acceptance. It was an active force, a creative energy that continually supports and nurtures the soul's growth and development. I saw that no matter how far a soul might stray from its divine path, it carries within it this original divine love, the potential to reconnect with it, and the ability to return home. Does that mean even lost souls are never truly beyond redemption? Even the most troubled souls, I saw, are never truly lost. They carry within them the seeds of reawakening, the divine spark that will always guide them back to the light. They are just in a temporary state of disconnection from their divine nature, like a radio that's momentarily out of tune with its station. But what does that truly mean? What causes a soul to feel separated from its divine origin? And how do they find their way back to the source of all love? As my experience began to draw to a close, I was shown one final truth that left me utterly in awe. The ultimate purpose of soul creation isn't just to exist. It's about expanding love and consciousness throughout the entire universe. Each soul is a unique expression of divine love, created not only to experience and learn, but to grow and contribute to the ever-expanding expression of God's love in all creation. So, what does that mean for us? Are we truly just here by accident? Or is there a deeper purpose to everything we encounter, every challenge and joy we face? I felt myself being gently drawn back to my body. But just before I returned, my grandmother and Emma, those loving souls I'd seen earlier, gave me a message. Remember, Callista, what you've seen is just a glimpse of the infinite love and wisdom that creates and sustains all souls. Share your story with those who are ready to hear it. But why is it so important to share this message? What is it that I am meant to communicate to others beyond just the miracle of my experience? Let them know they are infinitely loved and purposefully created, they told me. And with that, I felt the pull back to my body. The return was jarring, like coming back from the depths of the ocean into a world that now seemed unfamiliar. I gasped awake on the operating table, much to the surprise and relief of the medical team. They later told me that they had lost me for 7 minutes and 23 seconds due to an unexpected reaction to the anesthesia. They had been fighting to bring me back, and by all medical understanding, I should have suffered brain damage from the lack of oxygen, but instead, I was completely fine. More than fine, actually. I was transformed. How could I explain what I had witnessed? How could I describe something so profound? Something that transcended everything I knew about life, death, and reality. In the months since that experience, I've struggled to find words that could adequately capture the depth and beauty of what I saw. Human language seems so limited, unable to truly convey the majesty of those divine mysteries. Yet, I know I have to try. Each time I share this story, more details come back to me, and I see how it touches people in ways I never expected. I continue teaching 5th grade, but now, when I look at each of my students, I see them differently. I can sense the divine spark within them, that carefully crafted essence that makes each of them unique. What would happen if we all saw each other this way? Would it change the way we treat one another, the way we face our struggles? I now see their challenges as part of their soul's journey, guiding them toward growth and understanding. Does that mean their struggles are not random, but purposeful? What my experience hasn't done is make me reject science or rational thinking. Quite the opposite. It's shown me something profound. What we call science is just our limited understanding of God's infinite creative processes. The complexity and precision I witnessed in the creation of souls far exceed anything we've discovered through scientific investigation. Some people ask me if I'm afraid of death now, having experienced it. The truth is, I'm not afraid. What I fear is not fully living the life I've been given, not fulfilling the purpose for which my soul was so lovingly created. I know now that death is not an end, but a transition, a return to the source of all love and consciousness. I share this story not to convince anyone of anything, but because I was shown that sharing it is part of my soul's purpose. If this resonates with you, why is that? Could it be that your soul recognizes some deeper truth in it? If it doesn't, that's okay too. Each soul has its own path to understanding and its own timing for receiving different truths. So, what does all of this mean for you? What I want everyone to know is this: you are not an accident. Your soul was created with incredible love and purpose by a divine intelligence that knows you completely and loves you unconditionally. Every challenge you face, every joy you experience, every relationship you form is part of your soul's journey toward understanding and expressing more of its divine nature. The process of soul creation I witnessed continues even now. Every new life that comes into this world carries within it a unique spark of divine love and purpose. Are we all connected in this divine creation? How does it feel to know that we are all part of something much greater than ourselves, and that our lives have meaning far beyond what we can see? We are all part of this grand, ongoing creation, learning, growing, and gradually awakening to the incredible truth of who we really are. As I conclude this account of my experience, I am filled with gratitude, not just for the incredible gift of being shown these divine mysteries, but for the opportunity to share them with others. I know some will dismiss my story as a hallucination or the product of an oxygen-deprived brain. But I know what I experienced was real, more real than anything in this physical world. I continue to process and understand more aspects of what I was shown during those 7 minutes and 23 seconds. Sometimes, in quiet moments, I can still feel echoes of that divine love that permeates all creation. It reminds me that we are all connected, all part of something far greater than we can imagine, and all created with purpose and infinite love. So, if you take anything from my story, let it be this: you are not a random occurrence or a mere accident of nature. You are a masterpiece of divine creation, uniquely crafted with purpose and love. Every detail of your being, from the smallest cell to the deepest thoughts, has been woven with intention, designed to fulfill a role in the grand tapestry of existence. Your life, no matter how ordinary it may seem, is filled with meaning, and every struggle you face carries purpose. It is part of your soul's journey toward greater understanding, growth, and enlightenment. We often live as though we are separate from the world around us, as though our lives exist in isolation, defined by the immediate challenges we face. But what if the truth is far more profound? What if everything you experience, every relationship, every challenge, every joy, is not just a random event, but a step in the unfolding of something far greater? A plan that transcends time and space, a journey of learning and transformation that reaches beyond the limits of our understanding in this physical realm. The truth about how God creates souls is far more beautiful and complex than we could ever imagine. It is not just a process of mechanical division or creation, but an act of love, an eternal flow of consciousness that continuously expands and evolves. We are each a unique expression of divine love, each soul containing within it an infinite potential to create, to experience, and to love in ways that we have yet to fully comprehend. And while my words may never fully capture the depth of what I witnessed in those brief but profound minutes, I hope they bring you closer to the realization that your existence is not just a fleeting moment in time. It is part of a much larger, much more intricate plan, one that connects all souls across time and space in an ever-expanding dance of love, light, and consciousness. No matter where you are on your journey, no matter the struggles or triumphs you face, remember this: you are not alone. You are part of something vast, timeless, and incredibly beautiful. Your soul has a purpose that is as unique as you are, and the love that created you will always be with you, guiding you back to the truth of who you really are. You are a reflection of divine beauty and love, and your existence is precious beyond measure. In the end, the most profound realization of all is this: your life is meaningful. You have been created for a purpose, and that purpose is not limited to this lifetime alone. It extends across time, to infinity, connecting you to every soul that has ever lived, every soul that will ever live, and to the infinite love that holds us all in its embrace. May you carry that truth with you, knowing that you are a divine creation, loved beyond measure, and that your journey has purpose in the grand design of existence. So, let go of fear, let go of doubt, and embrace the truth that you are exactly where you need to be. You are part of the unfolding, part of the ever-growing expression of divine love that is the heart of all creation. Thank you for your listening.